Welcome to the 2022 PDGA Amateur World Championships. We're here on day one at the Princeton Country Club in the Evansville, Indiana area. It's Grant Zellner from the PDGA alongside Paavo Stubstad of Central Coast Disc Golf. It is hot, it is a little breezy, and it is a lot of fun watching the top amateur players in the world tackle this challenging course.
Definitely, Grant. I'm excited to watch some good disc golf today.
That's Elliot, Boutell. That's Ilkin, Groh. We'll introduce the rest of our card in just a moment.
I'm Elliot Boutell. I'm from Terre Haute, Indiana, and my PDGA number is 125397. Oh, I'm feeling great. It's my second major. I played in the Junior Worlds last year. It's first time playing Am Worlds, so yeah, I'm pumped to be on the feature card. You can feel the adrenaline from all the competitors. There's like no one's laid back. Everyone's just pumped up, ready to go. I'm just trying to pick my birdies, play for par when I can, and just keep it safe. My dad's out here with me. He's supported me a lot over the past couple years, driving me to tournaments all over the States. My sponsors, Westside Discs and Skybreed Discs. I'm super happy for all the support they've given me.
My name is Ilkin Groh, and my PDGA number is 145831. I mean, it's crazy. I still have not fully processed everything that went on last week. It feels like it was last night, honestly. Struggling to just like stay focused and just play my game, but surprisingly, I'm not very nervous right now. I'm out here to have fun, meet some new people, play disc golf, and just, I mean, maybe win. You never know. Just my dad again, my family. My dad drove me out here again. Adam, Dylan, and everybody who's come up to me, talked to me about the step putt, supported me. All those people mean so much to me.
I'm Brian Wilson, PDGA number 43487. Grateful, super excited. I don't live here anymore, but Am Worlds is happening in my hometown. Started playing Frisbee sports when I was 15, 30 now, so things kind of feel like they're full circle. Today I'm just gonna try to play things safe, control distance shots, take my birdies when I can get them. You can't win it on the first day, but you can definitely lose it. I'd like to shout out my dog Arthur and my parents for making sure that he's fed and healthy while I'm away.
Hi, my name's Stad. My PDGA number is 90085. I'm from Vancouver, British Columbia. It was a 36-hour drive, and it was one big wheat field the whole way. But I just tried to push on, get here as quick as I could, get some practice in. I stopped at a couple courses on the way. I'm not used to this heat at all, but I feel ready. I feel great today. I gotta shout out MVP Discs, Ace Runners Disc Golf. I told my mom I'd say hi, so hi Mom. And of course, I gotta thank my fiance, Ashley.
Taking a look here at hole number one at the Princeton Country Club, 341 feet over an OB ravine. Not that that ravine comes into play unless, of course, you catch this first tree on the right.
Yeah, Grant, one of my favorite things about this ball golf course here is the elevation change. I think that's one of the main things that makes a more open course interesting, and this course has no shortage of elevation change.
Brian Wilson.
Looking at Brian Wilson right now, stylish in that shirt. I thought they were carrots on his shirt for the longest portion of the day. They're not, they're just little squiggles. Going with the forehand out and wide to the left. A smart play given the hillside.
It's going to come up a little bit short, maybe put him about 40 feet with an uphill putt.
Oh, you're all good. I was just hoping I didn't say wrong.
Stad out of Vancouver, Canada, 41 years old. He's Masters eligible. Will be playing in the Masters in just a couple of weeks.
Yeah, he was talking about that during the round. Nice flex line. Going a little deep. Nice curl back. That's going to be in the circle.
Yeah, an excellent start to his round. This pin, a little more precarious than it looks.
I found that to be a common theme at this course. A lot of precarious pins.
This is Elliot Boutell, looking good in the fedora. Taking the direct line here.
Yeah, I like that. It's fading out towards the hill a little bit, which is why the forehand might play a little better, but if you got that straight backhand shot, nothing wrong with that.
Ilkin, Groh.
You're looking at your U.S. amateur champion from just a couple of weeks ago, Ilkin Groh.
And I believe Elliot and Ilkin are both only 17 years old. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There are a couple guys on the card today playing juniors in a few weeks, and one guy playing masters in a few weeks.
That's right. Ilkin, with a lot of power, choosing to play wide. That's not the first time he'll do that today.
Ilkin scoping out what the putt is looking like there, making sure he wants to run it, which I believe he's decided to do.
He mentioned to me anything inside 100.
It came up a little short.
Mm-hmm.
I'd imagine anything inside 100 that doesn't have a very steep slope behind it or, immediate OB or something, he would run. He plays pretty aggressively.
Brian Wilson not really flirting with that drop-off behind the pin. Here's Elliot Boutell.
Oh, just a little bit short, front of the cage. In line.
Chance. Yeah, Chance Stad. Yep, that's who he is.
Gotta love that last name. He's got the second half of my last name.
That's
and a great
right.
birdie to start the round.
Uh-huh. The lone birdie on hole number 1. It's difficult to tell as these players get started. The wind was up early in the round in particular and really swirling on this course. Difficult to get a bead on the direction of the wind at any one moment. Ilkin Groh's father on the bag today overheard them talking about how they would take what they could get early on in the round, given the wind.
As we've got 1 birdie and 3 pars on that hole. An interesting stat about hole 1 is it averaged exactly par on the dot for the day.
I would have thought it would have played just a little easier than that, given its length. But
It's gotta be that
nevertheless,
sloped green.
we move on to hole number 2, 913 feet. This is a monster of a par 4. It's playing slightly into the wind as well. Takes you sort of diagonally through this line of trees and out into the golf fairway. The pin itself tucked behind the golf green. By the way, all golf greens today playing out of bounds. Any bunker or other feature of the ball golf course that has a line around it also playing out of bounds. You can see the steep drop off to this basket. It's basically a blind shot unless you're very, very close. And this was indeed a very challenging hole.
And the wood line behind the basket is also OB, correct?
That is correct. Yeah. Chance Stad off the box.
With the hyzer play out to the right side, getting under the trees back to the fairway. That's a good shot.
Mm-hmm. You just kind of want to get through here. I noticed the card before these guys took a lot of tree hits.
I believe on the card before these guys, we also had a huge throw-in from about 300 feet.
We did. A blind throw-in at that. Here's Elliot. Looks like he's looking out wide to the right.
Good looking pure hyzer play there.
The wind is down right now, so
right in the middle.
And Ilkin Groh. Ilkin's strength today compared to his card mates sort of effortlessly with considerably more power.
Yeah, I definitely noticed that out there.
We'll see if he can use that to his advantage.
We're looking at Brian's second. Going with the flex forehand play.
You can't say he's laying up. That's putting a move on that disc, and yet he still finds himself well short on this par 4.
I mean, this is a bit of a tweener, if I'm being honest.
Really is.
913 feet, that is really long for a par 4. It actually averaged 0.79 strokes above par, the hardest hole on the day.
Elliot safely left of the green, and now Chance choosing to play up the right side.
Ilkin a little bit trapped behind this tree here. Good thing he's got a powerful forehand as well as a powerful backhand. Huge flare off the path.
Yeah, from where he was, everything after that flare completely blind. He had no idea just how far that disc matriculated its way down the hillside.
Oh, that's a good shot from Chance. It stays safe there by a few feet.
Just barely.
And that shows you how close that OB is. It might be right around circle's edge past the basket. And with the downslope, that makes for some real touchy upshots.
Elliot with a safe shot. Now Ilkin from a little bit of distance. Keeping things safe. These guys content to play for par here on the second.
As I would imagine most of the field was.
Here's Elliot to save par.
Just a little high. I love his putting style. Just confident, stand and deliver, spin putt.
Brian now. Brian nicely in, saving his par, which, as you mentioned, Paavo picked up strokes on the field.
That's
for
true.
sure.
Almost a full stroke on the field just for getting a par. Oh, that was a little bit dirty. It was a little bit right side. You know, one of those 50-50 putts. It could have stuck.
So Chance gives back his birdie he earned on hole number 1, drops back to even par. Ilkin Groh now to save.
Inside the circle, Ilkin takes about 0.5 seconds to think about his putts. Sometimes you just got to not overthink it on those ones that should just be kind of mechanical if you know what you're doing.
This entire card really plays pretty fast in a lot of respects.
True. And as we finish up that hardest hole on the course, I got to give a shout out to Chase Hayes and Matthew Helms for being the only 2 birdies in the field.
Wow. Back here now to hole number 3, another long par 4, 760 feet, playing up this valley, shielded almost entirely from the wind, which is only made more significant on a day like this. 95 plus degrees, high humidity, and down here where it was still, it was absolutely stifling. The players beginning to struggle sometimes with grip. In particular, Chance struggled all day long with his grip. Of course, he's from Vancouver, Canada. He mentioned repeatedly how hot it was for him.
Yeah, I was going to make a comment about that. It typically is the players who come from colder climates that struggle in the heat, and vice versa, for that matter.
Brian off the tee. By the way, the cart path meandering up the fairway inbounds on this particular hole.
And the uphill is pretty significant as well. You know, video rarely does uphill or downhill justice, so I thought I'd mention that. That is off left side. That is going to be pretty pinched off.
You got that.
Looking now at Chance.
I think he wanted a little more flip on that. That's also left side, but not quite as pinched off.
Here's Elliot off the tee, trying to correct off of those going before him, not able to do so.
And I think that's really a reflection of the steep uphill. It's just a lot harder to get discs to flip over when they're losing speed from being thrown uphill. You can see Brian really forcing that one over to make sure he gets the full flex. That's a good shot.
Everybody playing to a point, give or take about 130 or so feet out, or at least attempting to play to that point.
Yeah, I would guess this hole probably plays around 850 or so, given the uphill. So it requires two really good shots to get in the circle for a birdie putt.
Yeah, easily. Elliot, a little low and does not get the flight he wanted out of that. He'll be well outside that 130-foot landing zone I mentioned.
Nice Anheuser forehand from Ilkin there, straight into the center of the fairway. He's got a really balanced game. I always love to see that. Seems equally skilled with the forehand and backhand.
Indeed. Now Elliot quickly to circle one. Chance lining up the forehand as well.
Perfect. Parked.
Ilkin from 130, absolutely running this.
Yeah, just a little bit off to the left side, but he should still be in the circle for a tap in.
And here's Brian. Of note on this course, because of the elevation changes, some interesting sort of optical illusions. More than once on the day, I estimated visually a distance and then lasered the distance and found I was off by as much as 50 or even 75 feet at times.
Yeah, a lot of elevation change can really give that impression, as can very open holes. I find it easier to gauge distance in the woods than I do in the open in general.
Everybody pars hole number 3, a good score on hole number 3.
Indeed, as this one averaged 0.25 strokes over par. Not too many birdies on the day, but too many to shout out anyway. But most of the field was taking par or worse on this.
Brian Wilson showing you how it's done as we move on to hole number 4, up on top of the hill into a very appreciated breeze. Par 3, 268 feet down the hill. The pin sitting on a mound, which acts as a nice backstop for these players to aim at.
Yeah, this actually played as the easiest hole of the day, averaging 0.34 strokes under par, and you can see why.
Brian throwing the upside-down trash can lid. That is a fat disc. He threw it hard, too, and got about 260 feet of flight out of it. Here's Ilkin.
Similar line. Had a little bit more on it. And that's also in the circle.
Chance up.
Yep, that looks good. I like the hyzer play to control distance more. For a hole like this, I would personally prefer the hyzer over the straight shot, just to really control where you want it to end.
The wind direction on this particular hole at this particular moment also would have made a straight shot a difficult challenge.
Yeah.
Chance now the furthest out, sitting at about 27 feet. Well done. Again, slightly uphill, slightly into the wind. That was not a particularly easy putt.
Yep, got the fist bump. You know, it meant something to him. Happy to make that one.
Ilkin Groh now. Barely a thought, just steps up, knocks it in. Here's Brian Wilson.
He's got that Nate Sexton disc flip in his pre-putt routine. Gotta love that. You don't see that too often. He's also got a kind of interesting, unique putt with that nose-up spin putt that he fires almost out from his waist.
Very nose up. Fun to watch. And just like that, we're nearly halfway through our opening 9. Already to the third of just 4 par 4s here at the Princeton Country Club. This 635 feet. Hole number 5 plays down, up, and down. With that cart path off to the right, OB. The tree line to the left, also OB. There's a painted line right along the edge of where the brush, the thick brush that is, begins. And you can see here how the hole plays back down and into this very guarded circle area.
This is probably my favorite green on the course. I love holes that start in the open that have a really heavily wooded green that you got to find your way into.
Brian with the honors.
That's got a little too much turn on it.
Yeah, the wind, as I mentioned, swirling and overturning discs as we played in this direction for most of the players. Ilkin, likewise.
Oh, come on.
And he hits that tree and trickles out on the good side, so he
Good
should be
tree.
all right there. I think if it wasn't for that tree, he would have found himself OB on the other side of the cart path.
Absolutely no doubt about it. Chance now stepping up.
Similar looking line. And that hits a tree and trickles down the wrong side of it. He finds himself out of bounds.
Elliot overcorrecting after watching 3 discs flirt with OB to the right. Drifts left and finds OB to the left.
Yeah, he just got that a little too nose up. It stalled out and just dumped left.
So now Chance with a blind second catches yet another
Yeah,
tree.
that was just a little bit of grip lock there. Those grip issues you were talking about, everyone having, but him in particular.
Elliot now trying to put as much power on his shot as he can, rewarded with a really good amount of ground play there.
He'll have a putt, but it's a scary putt. Not only is the green wooded and protected, but behind the pin is a pretty significant slope.
Chance already playing his third. Finds himself obstructed there off to your left, his right. And now Ilkin with an opportunity.
Oh, man, that was going to be great if it wasn't for those branches. Just a few feet lower.
Brian taking the other gap, opposite Ilkin.
Man, those branches are not being kind. Like the thinnest, smallest branches are knocking them down. Here we see Chance in the woods.
Deep in the woods.
I believe he's kind of pin high right at this point, pitching out up to the green. And he gets out of the rough and hits a tree, but he's still in the circle.
Ilkin now.
That was so close. I think we hit chains and then cage and chains again, and it just didn't quite stick.
Brian also not able to make his, I'd say he was circle's edge or so there, and now Elliot by far with the best opportunity, but not able to capitalize.
And I saw an out-of-bounds graphic. I guess there's OB down past the pin as well. Yeah, because he taps in for a double there. Unfortunate.
So Elliot moves to 2 over par on the round as chance now to finish out.
Clearing some sticks out of his footing.
In for his double bogey. Moving him to 1 over par. Brian and Ilkin will take their pars and move on.
Our feature card here is struggling a little bit on this hole, but it actually only averaged 0.1 strokes over par, so not that challenging of a hole for the field. Just some danger with OB, really, is the main thing.
Yeah, this card off to a little bit of a slow, a little bit of a deliberate start, at least in terms of their scoring. Like I said, though, they actually play pretty fast. Quick decision makers, committed to their shots.
I'd say Ilkin's in contention for being the fastest Circle 1 putter I have ever filmed in my life, as a matter of fact.
Hole number 6 now 330 feet, a par 3. This hole playing considerably uphill, as is usual, more uphill than the camera is able to really give it credit for. Mentioned before, all ball golf greens are out of bounds, so that ball golf green just a number of paces there off to the right makes this a very challenging hole for the players. Brian Wilson up first.
I'd estimate with the uphill, this 330 feet probably plays about 380.
Minimum,
yeah. Maybe
Minimum.
Up as much as 400.
The wind, absolutely not a helping wind, but thankfully sort of down at this particular moment in the round. Ilkin showing off the power.
That might have been a good tree. Kind of gives him a less scary putt than he would have had from the left side there, where he would have been looking at the ball golf green.
No doubt about it. Chance now up quickly. Chance probably the shortest, but perhaps, as is often the case, the most accurate player typically. Definitely off to the left there, though.
As with the previous uphill hole, it's tough to get as much turn as you're looking for when you're throwing this steep uphill off the tee.
No doubt about it.
And I actually had to stand to the side a little bit here to see the basket, but I know from Chance's perspective, that was a blind shot. He couldn't even see it because of that tree. Trying to chip a little forehand up there.
Brian Wilson now. His bid from 50 feet, just a bit low. Elliot from similar distance.
Oh, so close. Even when Elliot was missing putts, they were always close.
Now Ilkin, an opportunity to card the only birdie.
And he gets it.
Quick.
In about 2.3 seconds.
Surprising to you that through 6 holes, we've only got 2 players under par?
Yeah, I mean, some of these holes early on averaged significantly over par. You know, hole 2 is almost a par 5, even though it's called a par 4.
Mm-hmm.
So you might expect players to be right around par at this point in the round.
A long string of par 3s on the back 9 as well, an opportunity for the players to make a lot of noise. So right now, maybe kind of a survive and advance mentality for this, our feature card, as we get another look at Ilkin showing off the power. Ilkin able to attack a lot of these holes by throwing a pure hyzer because of his power, and I think that is definitely an advantage.
Absolutely. Yeah, you know, a lot of people don't think about that aspect of it where, you know, distance isn't only about distance, it's about being able to throw a hyzer where others have to throw flex.
Hole 7, 430-foot par 3, downhill, but with an unfavorable wind today, not an easy reach, especially considering you're playing over water.
Yeah, this actually played as the second hardest hole on the day, 0.54 strokes over par, and you can see why. I mean, 430, blind off the tee, a lot of water carry. It's a tricky one.
There is a mando tree there just to the right. Got to stay left of that mando tree, so the water carry is forced, and Ilkin is going for it.
And he turned that over a little too much. Was getting a favorable cut roll, but that tree kicked him just over a painted OB line there. So there is a painted OB line a few feet from the water.
Yeah, the water level down just a little bit, so the line indicating OB. Brian stepping up, playing to the layup area, leaving himself about 175 to the pin.
I imagine that was a pretty common play on this. I feel like a lot of the players who are going for the birdie would probably often end up with a bogey, and players, laying up were getting a stroke on most of the field.
No doubt about it. Chance going for it and coming up just short.
It actually crossed the water, but didn't make it back in bounds over that painted line.
Exactly. Elliot playing safe, smart, leaving himself about 175 or so to the basket. Now Chance with his penalty stroke added.
Throwing 3. Pretty tricky shot still from all the way back there. He's put himself about 25 feet or so.
Brian up.
Good up.
Well placed. The hillside acting as a bit of a backstop for the players.
Let's see if the safe play can work out for Elliot.
A little higher, a little wider. Similar result. Now Ilkin to save his par.
That looked good. It just held that line a little longer than I was expecting. He puts a lot of spin on his putts.
Ilkin from range was a little bit off, I think, throughout the course of the round. Just a little bit. Oh.
Man, that's unfortunate. And that is a double for Ilkin. Bogey there for Chance. Our feature card showing us why this was the second hardest hole on the day.
Yeah, no doubt about it. The two players that elected to play safe rewarded with picking up at least one stroke on their card mates.
As we have the couple tap-ins for par here, I got to give 3 shout-outs. There were only 3 birdies on the day for this hole. Daniel Siddell, Dylan Spellman, and Timothy Loeffler. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, Timothy.
There's a lot of players here, 335 to be exact in the MA1 field. Split into 2 pools, by the way, so the other pool playing at Mesker Park today. Back to action here, though, at Princeton Country Club. Hole 8, par 3, 405 feet. The basket nestled amongst those 3 tree trunks directly in your line of vision.
Aesthetically, I love basket placements like this. Practically, it seems a little bit fluky because players can land on the quote-unquote wrong side of the green and have almost no putt because the trees are so thick.
Brian, a little low out of the hand, was hoping to crest the hill and then let the disc sort of fade naturally down the back of that hillside. Here's Elliot.
It's got a little more hyzer on it, coming back towards the pin.
Crests the hill, puts himself at circle's edge.
He may or may not have those trees in the way. We'll see when we get up to the putts.
Chance trying to get a full turn out of his discs. Actually does, but that turn unfortunately pushing him well off to the right. Here's Ilkin.
Looks so effortless the way he gets that much power on his shots. I mean, that had some heat on it still when it got there. It hit that branch and dropped.
So he's about circle's edge as well. Brian now. Just laying up.
Yeah, I don't think he could even see the basket from there. You can see how thick that kind of double tree is on that side. Same deal here for Chance, just laying up. He didn't really have any line to go for it. Playing to a side of the green where he will actually be able to putt.
You can see Ilkin blind to the basket.
He still went for it, though. He went for that high stall hyzer putt. Impressive attempt, honestly, from that lie.
Elliot with the only real opportunity.
Yeah, let's go, Elliot. Great putt.
Once again, we have a member of the card picking up a stroke on the rest of the card. Common theme today.
Good scoring separation on this
Yeah,
course.
I'd say so.
The OB, the elevation change, it leads to more exciting golf for sure. Good par save from Chance. And last but not least, we got Brian tapping in a par here. Or getting rejected by the basket. Hard to tell from this camera angle if that was really a spit out or if he missed it right side, but I heard the players talking about that was a pretty solid putt that should probably have stuck.
Brian does a good job of just sort of moving on. Knows we have 90 total holes to play in this championship.
Yeah, a lot of golf out here. 5 rounds, we get to see 3 different courses, which I love. We get to see some wooded golf, some park golf, and some ball golf course golf. A little of everything.
Wrapping up our opening 9 with this par 3, 382 feet, playing slightly downhill.
And there is OB pretty close on the left there. That rough is OB, correct?
It is indeed, yes. Very close when you get up to where the basket is located. The wind coming in off the player's left shoulder here. As Elliot fires first.
And he finds that OB I mentioned. The shape of the fairway really baits players, or really forces them almost to just throw a hyzer, which brings the OB into play a lot more. So this is a tricky one for that reason. You can't really play a line that fades away from OB if you want to reach the green.
Yep, Chance finding the OB as well. Now Ilkin stepping up. Ilkin with the power to go a little wider, a little higher, try to spike this disc into that area around the basket. Does so nicely.
Yeah, he'll have about a 25-footer or so for birdie there. Brian with a good-looking line as well. Oh, it did find the OB. Man, I thought that one was going to be good.
Just drifted in at the last minute. So 3 of 4 players OB off the tee here on hole number 9. Chance with the first opportunity to save his par.
Just a little bit high.
And then the brutal roll away.
S-curved about 3 times there. I mean, I guess at least it didn't roll OB. It could have been worse. That's too bad.
Elliot now for his par save.
Great putt, right in the heart.
Yeah, saving par in situations like that, that's the kind of putt you may be looking at here in a few days as having been pivotal to Elliot's championship hopes.
Another great putt from Ilkin, taking no time, firing it in there.
Now Brian to save his par.
Just a little bit low.
Brian a little low, yeah. So our feature card will wrap up their opening 9 holes. 3 of the 4 of them over par here for the championship, with a lot of golf yet to be played. No doubt about it.
Yeah, the front 9 is definitely the harder 9 at this course, so hopefully we'll see some more birdies on the back.
As we see Elliot now with a big par save to end his opening 9 holes. The heat only ratcheting up at this point, literally and figuratively.
Yeah, I think it was getting pretty close to 100 out there, maybe 96 or 97.
No doubt about it. Back later on with back 9 coverage here at the 2022 Amateur World Championships.